thousands. This is special about World Cups, Matt Dawson, isn't it? Look how many white shirts are in the crowd as we wait for the Manu Civitao.
Yeah, it has, there's no question the week-to-week rugby has maybe taken its toll a little bit at home, back in England. Having been back during the week, you've been grafting away over here pretty much every day, Chris. The stark contrast in the atmosphere in England, and I'm sure in the rest of the UK as well, for Ireland, Scotland and Wales, compared to being in Lille, in Nice, in Marseille, very, very different. I would recommend anybody get themselves out here as soon as possible, because the atmosphere of all the games have been tremendous.
Yeah, and you feel from here on in, the World Cup is just going to snowball in terms of its momentum and its excitement. Some big do-or-die games, not necessarily here this afternoon, but certainly in Nantes tomorrow lunchtime, when Argentina plays Samoa. A swing low sweet chariot rings around the stadium as the Samoan players in between the 10-metre line and the 22 are all in a huddle, their arms around each other, looking up to the heavens and preparing to lay down their cultural challenge. It's called the Civitao that you see before every Manu Samoa match, and they're putting all their hands together, all 23 players and their management team down to the left looking on as well. Let's listen in.
Samoa! Kakokama Samoa! Namaru! Sauia! Namaru Samoa! Namaru fight! Namaru Samoa! Namaru fight! Namaru Samoa! Namaru 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 Samoa! Ouça o Neymar Neat! Olha o Malo Siwatoto! Levanta com mais ossos! Neymar Wewe! Não Samoa! Manu!
The Samoan players ending with one knee on the floor and a fist clenched, laying down the challenge to England. And the Samoan players now skip back towards the 22, and England take off their tracks. So what's going through the minds just now, Kat Merchant, with seconds to go to kick off in a World Cup pool game?
Well, the camera going across the England players there was great, seeing their faces as they were faced with that. They were nodding, they were pumped. You could just see they're excited, they're looking aggressive, but in a good way, that they really just want to get this game going.
And Matt Dawson, England will always say there's pressure, they're playing for England, they put it on themselves. But what's it like going into a game where there isn't that suffocating must-win kind of pressure on England? Does it help? Does it hinder? Will it free them up to play rugby without that element of fear or hesitation?
No, that's a fair challenge, Chris, because it really will depend on the individual. Yeah, some players need the big games. Some players need it to be South Africa, New Zealand, France, Ireland to get the best out of one of the others. Are happy in the environment where they're just expected to win. The challenge for the coaches and for the individual players is somehow get their mindset to an individual performance of brilliance. You know, really put pressure on yourselves to deliver a performance like your shirt is on the line for it.
Here we go then, what an occasion. It might be something of a dead rubber with England already qualified, and Samoa need an extraordinary run of results to have a sniff. But this atmosphere is special. To build on Matt Dawson's point, it has just been fantastic out here in France. The atmospheres in the cities, the atmospheres in the towns, and most of all the atmospheres in the stadium. I was in Marseille on Sunday night for South Africa Tonga, full house, and here we are days later, England against Samoa, full house in Lille, and those England fans who I heard were struggling to get in have just about made it for kickoff. So all's well that ends well when it comes to getting in the ground for now, certainly. The referee is Andrew Brace. England are going to kick off from left to right in their white shirts, their white shorts and their red socks. And you can hear the countdown. You can hear the thousands of fans here counting down with the referee, who says to George Ford, let's go to work. And Ford, with that drop goal that we saw 3 times, drive a little knife into the Argentinians. His kickoff is taken by Samoa, then cleared by their fullback Pierre Aouar, and England have a chance right below us here with a line out. Jamie George to throw in. He goes to the tail, finds Chesham off the top. Alex Mitchell, there's Tuolangi against the land of his birth. Crashes into Fritz Lee and also Tuala, the inside centre. England trying to work a pattern, doesn't quite go to hand. Has to be tidied up over on the far side. Samoa working hard on the floor. I think they've turned it over, have they? Yeah, it's turnover for Samoa, and they're going to put some width on the ball. Tuala has it the inside centre. Now out to Lima Sopawanga, the former All Black, who's danced around Chesham. Great stuff, Samoa. Couldn't quite get the offload away. Now he does the Tamatene, the 9. Back to the inside centre, Danny Tuala. Breathless start in Lille as Samoa go 30-odd metres. They might have some numbers out wide. Here's McFarland of Saracens. 10-metre line. Slap bang in centre field. Great noise around the stadium as the ball again goes loose, but Tamatene, the number 9 with his shock of blonde hair, finds Sopawanga. Over on the far side, dancing is Manu, the outside centre. Tamatene finds Al-Alatur of Leinster. England have just got their defensive shape back, but Samoa might have some room on the edge. Flung out to Danny Tuala, who's carrying loads of ball, and he's chipped ahead. It's just dribbled out of play, and after all that, it'll be a line out to England on their own 22.
I mean, if Samoa can keep this up for 80 minutes, then we're in for an absolute humdingery. It's going to go to the wire, but fast, furious, pacey, powerful. My goodness me, Kat, Samoa put a marker down there.
Oh, absolutely, and then a 20-metre pass as well to get it out wide, kick in behind, like they are looking to attack. But England did look to go wide and quick straight away, so perhaps they're not going to go for that more boring kind of style of play, which we are useful, but they ended up getting turned over, so perhaps they will revert.
Yeah, when they had a go, and then they might go back to the default, which is to play territory. England haven't got their line-out drill right here. Jamie George went right to the tail, but it wasn't straight, so it will be a scrum to Samoa, and this is where it's all about, from a Samoan point of view, converting pressure and territory, Matt, into points. Tonga, for example, on Sunday night in Marseille, gave it everything at South Africa for 20 minutes, no points, then South Africa struck. It's so imperative for the teams who play less rugby, who have less cohesion, to strike while they can.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, because Samoa are not going to win this game by drop goals and penalties, but then you don't want to expend your energy going for the try for 15-20 minutes and come away from anything. It's a real killer blow. So they'll give Samoa are going to have opportunities, there's no question about that. If they can convert 50-60% of those, then just give yourself we're going to find ourselves like England were against Samoa 20 years ago, when you're scrapping around in the second half to get over the line.
We have to look at the Uruguay game against New Zealand. No one would have guessed, like, the end result, yes, but in the first 10-12 minutes, Uruguay looked like scoring twice, and if you take those opportunities as the nations to actually get over and to score, you're looking at just that slightly different game to get a foot in.
So what could Samoa do with that in mind? 22 on the cross of the 15 and the 22. Fed by Tamatene, he's got a big blind set. Oh, it's a penalty, England at the scrum. Straight away, he's got the tight head, Michael Alalatoa, for losing his bind and folding in. So slaps on the back for Ellis Genge, and England will have a pressure-relieving penalty.
Yeah, a mistake there from Tamatene, scrum half for Samoa, just rushing the put-in. Maloa had given him the sign, didn't put it on his foot. Terrible strike, couldn't get it back to the Samoan number 8, Luatua, that England are going to put pressure on the Samoa, so Samoa need to have that function really sharp, get the ball in, out and away, because set-piece games, they're going to get murdered there.
5th minute in Lille, good England drive at the line. Now that is a power play from the men in white, and they have careered into the 22, and they've got penalty advantage. Right, what can England do with this? Mitchell is caught, Farrell does really well to kick it through, then it's tidied up by Samoa. But we go back for the penalty. Wow, big power play at the maul.
And
he's entitled to come around, then it was a maul, okay?
Fair, I was just about to wonder whether McFarlane was going to get yellow carded for a cynical penalty.
Yeah, so the line-out was over because he's gone forward, ball's transferred, you're entitled to come around. Maul was formed.
That's explained why it wasn't.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Brace.
Yeah, good timing, explained as it, but for England, the set piece, they've won a penalty now from the scrum and then from the line out and the drive off it, but they react so quickly. They go in almost as if that's unopposed, and they then look to get it go through as well. So really executed when it's needed in that set piece.
One of the biggest mauls we've seen from England all World Cup, which has been a weapon at times, and that was brutal. They've kicked to the corner from the penalty. Jamie George to throw. This is where England will look to profit. Courtney Lawes at the front. This warrior of a flanker. Jamie George has it at the tail now. 13 test tries and counting for the Saracens hooker. They've crabbed across, but they're looking good now. England. Fritzley's come at the side. He's got to be careful. Everyone's piling in for England. 6, 7, 8 and more bodies. The ball's gone to ground though, and Samoa have done really well to force the knock on, and it's going to be a scrum. Some Samoan backs were saying just get rid of it, others were shaping as if they wanted to counter-attack. Tamateni, the scrum half who's digging for it, has been turned over by Samoa, and they clear gleefully through Sopawanga. They get the penalty as England are offside at the ruck. So what was such a great opportunity, Cat Merchant, has led to a penalty to Samoa.
Yeah, they'd learned from that previous line-out maul, and they defended it so much quicker. They got organised, they worked really hard, ended up winning the ball back, and then the penalty for England being offside as well is just one that they just don't need to give away. Those are the silly ones where actually they've let Samoa off now. Samoa are going to clear their kick, they're going to just be out of that pressure zone, and really England getting, whenever they're in the 22, are going to want to come away with some form of points.
Really good kick from Lima Sopawanga, just goes up to halfway. And I'm just seeing Gareth Lewis just text Talupi Faletau, broken arm out the tournament. That is a savage blow for Wales, who sealed top spot in Pool C today.
Yeah, that's not good. That really is not good news. Wales are going to need every ounce of experience, as you know, everybody is in these knockout phases. That's a huge blow.
Oh, that is desperate for Wales, who got the job done against Georgia, but Faletau was looking so good. Samoa win their line out. Sopawanga goes crossfield. This should be taken by Stewart. It is taken by Stewart, who's so adept under the high ball. Sunshine in Lille, but the ground largely covered by shadows from the stand. It is a beautiful day in the north of France. It is shorts and t-shirt weather for all these England fans who have flocked across the channel. The ball's been turned over, and Tamateni would have been under the post. A little bit sloppy from England. Now it's come back on the English side. Jamie George herring up the touchline. He's kicked. Back goes Sopawanga. The left winger Fomai is back there as well. He will clear to touch. Right, it is all happening because England had it, then Samoa had it, then England had it, and after all that, it's going to be an England line and on the 10-metre line inside Samoan territory.
It's not every day you see a hooker make a line break and then decide to put it through with the boot, but it was a great kick as well and a good chase. But it's that exciting pace of game that we're seeing, and you know, in these opening times. But great line break, good decision as well.
England go quickly, good tempo to this game in Lille. The first 8.5 minutes have flown by, no points yet. England, Samoa, 5 Sports Extra, over with 5 Live shortly at the conclusion of the 3 o'clock footballs. Any minute now we'll join our listeners on Radio 5 Live. Alex Mitchell, halfway line for England. Jamie George to Ben Earl, his Saracens clubmate. Barrels up and over the halfway line. Farrell now, a point away from Wilkinson's record. Nice rugby, England. Stewart gets it out to Tuolangi. There's a 2-on-1 here with Chesham. Ollie Chesham for the corner. Ollie Chesham's going to score. Fantastic England try. Brilliant stuff from the men in white. Thrown into the stands by Chesham, and England are up and running in Lille.
Yeah, beautiful rugby from England. Into play. Left to right, right to left. Owen Farrell coming in first receiver, setting up to Manu Tuolangi. All the action up the middle. And then a beautiful pass in behind, quick hands. 2-on-1 from Tuolangi. How many times have we seen England in those positions previously with 4-on-3s, 3-on-2s, not been able to make amends? But goodness me, if that's the All Blacks, if that's Ireland, we're all doing cartwheels. That was well finished.
A real murmur of appreciation, a bit more than a murmur, a hum of appreciation around Lille from the tens and thousands of England fans. And now there's an air of anticipation, because we are potentially seconds away from English rugby history here. England 5, Samoa 0, and Owen Farrell from about 7 or 8 metres in from the far touchline. This kick will take him past Johnny Wilkinson. He's got 1,178 points. Wilkinson 1,179. This to go to 1,180. Nothing will change about Farrell's approach. That long, deliberate look at the ball, then up to the post, the chest puffed out, up he steps. Owen Farrell for history. Oh, he's pulled it after the big build-up. Can you believe it?
He knew exactly what. Oh,
well, he obviously knows he's on the verge,
yeah,
but do you think it affected his technique?
Yeah, of course. That's a huge moment in his career. And all he wanted was one slap bang in front of the sticks just to get over the hurdle. I think we can let him off that opportunity.
Well, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because it shows that even a steely team competitor like Farrell, those individual accolades can just be there nagging away and him going, oh, I wouldn't mind getting this over and done with. Snatch this kick. And Samoa now have a penalty right in front of the post now. This is an interesting call, Cat Merchant and Matt Dawson. You're Samoa, you're up against it, you're playing an England team who have already scored the first try of the game. Do you go for goal? Do you put it into the corner? Thank you very much, Ian. Welcome to Lille, where England are up and running. They have scored a try through Ollie Chesham, and then we thought a big moment of English rugby history. Owen Farrell over the conversion, 7 or 8 metres in from the touchline. The kind of kick he has nailed for the 11 plus years of his international career. And then perhaps it was in his head and he just snatched and pulled it to the left. So Wilkinson's points record of 1,179 intact for now, although Farrell will surely better it through the course of this game. But his opposite number, or his opposite kicker, Lima Sopawanga, has a chance to put Samoa on the board here. 12 minutes gone, England 5, Samoa 0, the former All Black Sopawanga to put Samoa on board, and he stabbed at it. And I was going to ask Cat and Matt Dawson, Cat Merchant and Matt Dawson, our World Cup winning pair here on 5 Live. Should Samoa be taking those points to get on the board, or should they be trying to make the most of the territory with a scrum or a kick to the corner, Cat?
I think it was the right decision to go for points. It was 5-0 because Farrell didn't get his kick. It's close, like go for it, and come away with something when they're in that half. So I think it was the right decision, but obviously poor execution.
Yeah, I think it was a tricky one because it wasn't necessarily an easy kick into the corner, and England's set piece is so strong. You're not guaranteeing winning the ball if you're Samoa. Maybe from now on you're just going to get a little tap and go and get on with it, Samoa, and try and... Again, Samoa are not going to win this game with kicks. They're going to have to score 3+ tries.
Well, England have got 1 try of their own. Ollie Chesham, and probably the best try we've seen from England in some time. It was a break from the halfway line. Chesham finishing brilliantly after Manu Tuolangi gave the pass. And you're just pointing at Courtney Law's Matt Dawson as England win the scrum on the far side. And I mean, Courtney always is in the wars, but he's just gingerly walking over to the scrum.
Yeah, and was just taking a knee there. And when he did get up after the initial knock, he went to step off his right foot to move left when he needed to be in position on the right, which does not bode well. Whether that's an HIA, there's a bit of claret, a bit of water going over his face there, a bit of claret from somewhere. It's going to take some serious injury for him to go off, that's for sure.
Well, talking about serious injuries, if you are just joining us on 5 Live, earlier Wales top Pool C, 43-19 victors over Georgia, but it came at a cost. We've had it confirmed in the last few minutes. that their great number 8, Talupi Faletau, is out the World Cup with a broken arm. So Faletau will play no further part in this World Cup, and he will miss the quarter-final. Wales will play next Saturday. Right, plenty of stoppage time in the Fulham-Sheffield United game. What's the latest there, Lee Blakeman?
Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1. Fulham have had plenty of chances to win it. Wilson hit the post a few moments ago, and we're now into 8 added minutes at Craven Cottage. Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1.
Thanks very much, Lee. Back with you as things unfold at Craven Cottage. Earlier, Burnley 1, Chelsea 4, Everton 3, Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 2, Brentford 1. The earlier game was won by 10-man Tottenham 1-0 away at Luton. And in the Scottish Premiership, Celtic beating Kilmarnock 3-1, Hearts 2, Hibs 2, Livingston 2, Motherwell 0. All the scores, of course, on the BBC Sport website and app. It is a scrum to England over on the far side. Alex Mitchell, who has made this number 9 shirt his own through the course of the tournament, having not been in the original 33, he prepares to feed. And just a little bit of pace has come out the game, Cat Merchant, because it really flew by for the first 10 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah, I think there's been a few turnovers which both teams reacted very quickly to, but then the penalties, kicking for posts, started to slow it down just a little bit. But it was never going to be that pace for a full 80 minutes for either side.
Great noise around Lille, fantastic atmosphere, so many white shirts. It was a festival feel out in town last night, and through the course of the day, so many England fans hopping on the Eurostar across to this city of northern France. And now finally the scrum is ready to go. We're actually going to go straight to Fulham. You had a late goal lead.
It's all over now. Fulham 3, Sheffield United 1. Willian cutting in from the left, edge of the area, right foot shot. 3 goals, 3 points. Fulham 3, Sheffield United 1.
As Manu Tuolangi goes steaming through, England have numbers to the right. George Ford gets it to Owen Farrell. He could get it with a try. No, he stopped just short. And England are bundled out of touch, just a metre or two from the Samoan line. But Manu Tuolangi looks on one today, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, Manu being fed the ball on the line. I think they were looking like it was set up potentially for a decoy play, but lovely late ball from Owen Farrell. Manu couldn't quite link, and off the next phase, England's backline wrapped around. You thought, well, that's one way to get your points record. Owen Farrell get over the line, didn't quite have the step off his right foot to finish. I think there's going to potentially be, I thought there may have been a high tackle in there somewhere, but Mr. Brace is carrying on.
He's cleared it, it's on the shoulder.
Yeah, Owen Farrell was asking the question of Andrew Brace, whether the tackle was high.
Thanks, guys.
And Brace, the official has said, no, it was on the shoulder, so just about okay. But playing a matter of inches in it there, as Samoa through Malolo, their hooker. Can they get their drill right? McFarlane gets up, does well, back to Tamatene, and now carried by Fritz Lee. So Samoa have resourced the ball, but England are working really hard at the breakdown to make it as messy as possible. 5-0 England. Sopawang, a decent clearance under real pressure. Will England go quickly here? Yes, they will. Marchant wearing 14. The fans like that. And now Johnny May's gone through a huge hole. England's wingers getting loads of the ball today. They barely touched it against Japan a while back. Ford now. Ellis Genja first receiver. Big collision with Fritz Lee, but he makes a couple of metres there, does Genge. Mitchell, he whizzes it out to Maro Itoje, who rides the first tackle, then drives on. Advantage to England. What can they do from this? A bit of a free play. Mitchell comes to the right. Courtney Laws is back on his feet after that knock. Inside to Genge. 5-0 England, 20 metres out the back to Ford, who dinks it for Jamie George, who could be in. Tamateni gets back the scrum half, and England will have the penalty. No advantage, but there's definitely, Cat Merchant, more of an enterprising approach from England, as shown by that quick line-out by Joe Marchant.
Yeah, Marchant, really quick pass in, then Stewart as well, another pass, and then we're looking at May making his first line break of the game. Good footwork as well, and when they had the advantage, I like that they played it rather than kick straight away.
Number 12, press right.
Andrew Brace just addressing Samoa there. Continued offsides, high tackles, infringement at the rucks. It's only a matter of time before Samoa, by the sounds of it, go down to 14 men. Owen Farrell, you see, he wanted it because it's closer to the post, Chris. There we go. I know it's been a few years since I've played, but we all still go through that nervy little moment.
I felt the two of them were in.
Well, surely now, a couple of moments ago, Farrell had a conversion which would have broken Johnny Wilkinson's points record. He snatched that one, just pulled it to the left, but this one far more regulation for the England captain, wearing number 12. 1,178 points at the moment. Johnny Wilkinson just one ahead, 1,179. But this kick to put Farrell out on his own as the greatest point scorer in English rugby history. 5-0 England lead in Lille, and there's an expectancy around the ground from the thousands and thousands of England fans wearing white. Farrell 6-7 metres to the right of the post, shorts pulled up, deliberate approach, chest puffed out. There's Owen Farrell, and this one sneaks in, and that's history for Owen Farrell, and he gets a hug from his good mate Jamie George. George knows the significance of that. He's gone past another great of English rugby in Johnny Wilkinson. 1,181 points, the record breaker Owen Farrell, who puts his thumbs up, and he knows he's achieved something really quite special here today, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, many congratulations, Owen. That is a tremendous achievement. Has been so consistent with the boot over the years as well. And what's that, 11 years? It's not a ridiculous amount of time, is it, really, for that amount of points? I know he's got a few points to go to get to Dan Carter, but he's got fuel in the tank.
Yeah, 1,598, Dan Carter. That is an incomprehensible number of points. But Owen Farrell making English rugby history here in Lille, going past the legendary Johnny Wilkinson. 1,181 points. What an achievement from the England skipper. Samoa on the loose ball now, then they lose it forward, and it will be a scrum to England after all that, the ball ricocheting around. And how will you feel if you're England camp merchant, scored a good try, 20 minutes gone, 8-0, a little bit of a cushion, Farrell's got that record done and dusted. How will Steve Borthwick feel, do you think, after almost a quarter of this game gone?
I think the scrum dominance, we're really happy with that. A really good driven line out as well, so you've got your basics sorted to start with. Then the fact that they have moved it well. Tuilangi's having a very good game. He's changed, I feel, as a player over the last few years with all the injuries he's had. Like, coming in now, he's so solid, and his handling as well, and that ability to move the ball has just come on with it, as well as being that powerful line breaker. So I think got to be pretty happy with it, and we'll just want them to up that defensive effort now as well.
And they're getting some change at the scrum. This time it is a free kick as Samoa go too early, and is that a sign, Matt Dawson, of a twitching Samoan scrum because they feel they probably and they're struggling a bit in that area?
They're also playing a very expansive game, aren't they? It's tough on the lungs, so the fitness is very different from team to team here. England can handle that fast pace and set piece game.
Freddie Stewart comes forward to take that well. England have numbers to the left if they move it quickly, and George Ford has seen that. He sends it out to Farrell. Farrell kicks, but Samoa had a couple of men in the backfield, including Lima Sopawanga, who kicks. Farrell comes through on him, but keeps his cool and doesn't clip him. Ford out to Freddie Stewart. Stewart looking for territory. Niria Famai back there, and I think Sopawang will send this to touch, so a good time for us to go to the belated full time at Fulham. How's it ended up there, Lee Blakeman?
It's ended Fulham 3, Sheffield United 1. The game ending late because of a serious looking lower leg injury to Chris Basham. For Fulham, Decordova-Reid, Willian and a Fodringham own goal. Sheffield United equalised earlier via an Anthony Robinson own goal, but Fulham recovered for their first Premier League win in 3. It's ended Fulham 3, Sheffield United 1.
Nice one. Attack, Jamie George intercepted by Samoa, but it's so deep in their own half that there'll be nothing for the Samoan supporters to get too excited about. They sweep around, little kick goes through, and England don't actually have many men back because they were on the attack. Mitchell loses it under real pressure from Famai, and it's been knocked on by Mitchell, and Samoa have it through Tamateni. In fact, it's their second O'Brien, Aladu Uesi, picked up by McFarlane. It's loose. Samoa won't particularly mind that. They might even have a hint of an overlap out there. The fullback dancing is Pia Oa, and now Stephen Luatua. What a player he is. Samoa might have some numbers was the far side, and Fritz Lee tried so hard to transfer it quickly, it ended up going to ground, but still in Samoan possession, in between the 22 and the 10-metre line in English territory. That's nice from Samoa. Lovely ball from Sopawanga to McFarlane. Brilliant rugby, Samoa. Paeaoa, he's thrown a dummy. Couldn't quite get it away to Sam Slade. Here's McFarlane, who's everywhere, the Saracen. He's having a colossal game so far. Tamateni out to the tight head, Michael Alaalatoa, and now Malolo, his front row mate. Really good rugby this by Samoa, who trailed by 8 in Lille. Sopawanga, deep it comes to Tawala. Tawala tackled by Ford, but he made ground. Tamateni comes to the right, lovely hand, Samoa over to the far side, and they've scored a brilliant try. Nigel Awong has scored it, and how good that is to see. Samoan rugby at its best.
Yeah, loads of really good offloading, moving the ball wide. I thought at first that 2v1 out wide, when that ball went to ground, that might have been opportunity gone, but they managed to regather. And I tell you what, Paeaoa, he has done 2 amazing line breaks in the build-up to that try as well. He's on fire today.
Yeah, unfortunately, all coming from an interception from Jamie George in the backfield, and that's the balance. All right, it's all well and good. England scoring fantastic tries, and they did. But you've got to know when to play and when to tuck it up the jumper, when to take the contact, because it's however many minutes gone of the game, 25 minutes or so, Samoa are going to have plenty left in the tank at the moment, and they're going to punish you. England have got to do the hard work. Their try was magnificent, and it was played in the right areas with the right tempo. They attacked at the right time. On that occasion, it wasn't on to throw the 50-50 balls, because Samoa are going to go for the interceptions, and that's when you get yourself in trouble. And let's back this up.
Sopawanga for 2, just about. In it goes, 8-7.
England are playing against a Fijian-like team who are not quite around, not quite as tight around set piece, but they're just as elusive, they're just as powerful and as strong. So, England have got to be really smart here. I can still see England winning the game, but just be smart about how you play and when you play.
Well, what a reaction from the Samoan coaches, Umanga, Mapasua, great men of Samoa, who are leading the side of this World Cup. England 8, Samoa 7, 5:15 in the UK. The main sports headlines today would be Sports Report, usually on a Saturday. Here at the Rugby World Cup, Wales beating Georgia 43-19 as Samoa clear their lines, but Talupi Faletau out of the tournament with a broken arm, so Wales win, but damage done. Elsewhere, Scott McTominay scoring twice in injury time as Manchester United come from behind to beat Brentford 2-1. A first home win of the season for Matt Dawson's Everton, 3-0 against Bournemouth. Chelsea come from behind to beat Burnley 4-1. 10-man Tottenham beat Luton 1-0 in the early kick-off. And as we heard from Lee Blakeman, it finished Fulham 3, Sheffield United 1. Leicester are top of the championship after a 2-0 win over Stoke. Samoa with the line out after England throw it squint. So Leicester top of the championship, they beat Stoke. Ipswich are second, they beat third place Preston 4-2. Middlesbrough won 4-0 at Sunderland. Portsmouth are top of League One after beating Port Vale. Celtic beat Kilmarnock 3-1 at the top of the Scottish Premiership. Wigan are through to the Super League Grand Final after they thumped Hull KR. In the Cricket World Cup, South Africa on course to beat Sri Lanka. They post a world record score in the process. In racing, Frankie Dettori won his 500th race at Newmarket as Inspiral won the Sun Chariot Stakes. And Max Verstappen can win the F1 world title tonight. We'll be in Qatar to see if he can do it at full time here in Lille. Scrum Samoa halfway line, Matt Dawson.
Remarkable, Chris Jones. Can I just applaud you for going through every single sport that there is in the world? How did the Herodian under-12s get on this morning?
No, I wasn't helped at all by reading off a screen, thanks to our producer Adam, but thank you very much, Matt. As Samoa attacking, they're full of confidence now. Samoa, they go over to the far side to Awong. Inside it goes to Danny Tawala. Samoa 8-7 down, but they're doing all the running in the last 5 minutes or so. Sopawanga goes crossfield to the ever-present McFarlane, who dances inside to Alangi, and he gets an offload away miraculously to Malolo, who's gone charging past Laws. 5 metres out. How good is this from Samoa? Then it's ripped by England and dotted down. Well, as it was stripped, it's a Samoan scrum. 5 metres out. Cat Merchant.
It's that word you said there, confidence. They are looking like they're likely to score. They're not just flinging it for the sake of it. Garland there did an amazing gather and look, and he got that one-hand offload away. They are really looking to score here, and you can see they believe that they're going to as well. And England, they were caught off guard there. It's not often you see the likes of the pack getting handed off and roam, but Malolu made it look like it was easy.
It's sort of World Cup final time for Samoa, isn't it? You can feel it. You can feel that it's obviously been building for months and months and months, that they know they're playing against England. What can they do? Well, they're showing us.
Well, we've got a water break here, so let's go quickly to Delhi. We mentioned the Cricket World Cup, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Dan Norcross.
Sri Lanka need 156 from just 71 balls. That wouldn't in itself be a disaster on a good batting surface, but they're 7 down. They've lost, they lost Asalanka for 79. Lage, first ball for a duck. Shanaka's still there. He has 56 from 54. He's going well, but he's now with the bowlers. They are in dire straits. They need 156 from 71 balls, just 3 wickets in hand.
Thank you very much, Dan, and commentary over on Radio 5 Sports Extra will be a home of the Cricket World Cup. England losing their first game, but back in action against Bangladesh in a few days' time. Can they recover at the Cricket World Cup? And Sports Extra, the website, the app, BBC Sounds, numerous great cricket podcasts, good pace for radio's back. All you need from the Cricket World Cup with us. As is the case with the Rugby World Cup, every game on 5 Live, on Sports Extra, on BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. The Rugby Union Daily out every single morning. We'll have one out tomorrow morning reacting to this game, which has been brilliant so far in Lille, and also that titanic clash tonight. Scotland against Ireland in the Stade de France in Paris. 8 o'clock kickoff, commentary on 5 Live, all the reaction on the Daily tomorrow morning. Samoa 5 metre scrum. Can Tamatena use it? With his scrum under pressure. Oh, Alex Mitchell's got in there, Matt Dawson. That's one after your own heart. He's spoiled very well, Mitchell, on the Samoan 9.
They're like hen's teeth these days, aren't they? Brilliant pressure from Alex Mitchell. Relieved his team of 20 metres there for sure. Still Samoa with the ball, though.
Tamateni, 22 in centre field. They've got an advantage, Samoa. They can go into the lead in Lille. What a great 10 minutes by the men in blue. As Tamateni, he's on his back and he chucks it over his shoulder, back for the penalty. And Cat Merchant, earlier you called the right move to kick for the post, and surely they go again, don't they, Samoa? Or do they go, right, let's just keep playing and stick it in the corner?
Well, that's the thing with teams. They'll get excited, and he is now. He's going for the line out. And actually, in this situation, they've had momentum. They've had England under the cosh. England haven't been defending well. So actually, why not go for that line out? Previously, when they went for the points, good decision because they didn't have momentum with them, but fair play to them.
Yeah, big moment for Samoa here. They've switched their line out a little bit. They were a full line out. They've had a previous line out where they cut to 4 just to mix it up. You know England are going to challenge.
Up they get through McFarland, who's been great, hasn't he? As has most of this Samoa side. Almost half an hour gone in Lille. England 8, Samoa 7. England in the World Cup quarterfinals already, but a massive opportunity for them to build confidence ahead of a last 8 showdown. Samoa going crossfield with the kick. Could be a second try for Arwan. Has he got it down? I think he has. Magnificent by Samoa. Oh, that's magnificent. A kick to the corner. Somehow he's taken it and got it down, I think, before the dead ball line. The officials are having a chat about it, but it looks like Samoa have got their second try to take the lead. A perfect cross kick and wonderful skill to dot it down. Nigel Awong's already got 1 try, and it looks like he's got a second as well.
I mean, if he's got this down in time, it's an amazing bit of dexterity. It's just on the hoop.
So, Andy, just stand by. We're going to get an
full
angle to show
pace,
exactly what's happened here.
jumping, catching into the breadbasket and somehow transferring it into his hand to get it down in a millisecond before the line. His face doesn't necessarily look convinced, if I'm honest, whether Samoa have scored it or not. Usually there would be high fives aplenty by now.
Well, his initial reaction was, he fist pumped the air. He looked like I think he believed he scored it, but you're right, that would be incredible in skill set to do that.
Okay,
They're going to review it now.
Frame here. So you can see that the foot is still in the air as the ball is grounded, and then the foot touches the line after the ball has been grounded. So the try is good.
Yeah, so try is good.
Wow.
Ball's grounded before the foot touches the dead end goal.
Correct.
I mean, you've heard Andrew Brace there just describe it. It's as if
first, a frame later, the foot is
you're running towards the try line. You've put the ball down. I mean, honestly, a couple of A4 sheets of paper before the studs have hit the ground. My goodness me, what a brilliant finish.
Insane finish. That genuinely is up there. I mean, the aerial skills in the first place, timing the line to hit it. The kick itself was probably a couple of metres too deep, so it was asking a lot of our Wong, but he just absolutely nailed it. I'm in awe of players who have the aerial skills like that, and that was just absolutely outstanding.
Do you know where that was? We missed a trick there, haven't we? When the ball got kicked in there, the commentary, we should have been, Wong, try! We've missed an opportunity. We should have practiced these things, Chris Jones.
Well, maybe when he's on his hat-trick, isn't he? So he's got 2 in 29 minutes. Nigel Wong, Sopawanga for 2. This one will go through. Yes, it does. OK, England up against it here. England 8, Samoa 14. And even though the England fans, of which there are many, many thousand around Lille, will be desperate to see England win and win well, I'm sure they will also be appreciating this rugby from Samoa. This is the kind of rugby we know Samoa are capable of. We've not seen much of it this tournament, but it's Samoan rugby at its best, and they've scored 2 great tries, Kat.
Yeah, they've been outstanding in their confidence, and they've gone for it, but also flipping it back to England, they need to defend, and they need to practice their defence clearly. So actually having this happen to them in this stage, I'd much rather it happen now than in a quarter-final.
It's a bit loose though, Kat, isn't it? I mean, and again, we'll go back. It was a lovely try from England, and there were a couple of line breaks, but they were playing a loose game, and that's always going to be the danger.
Well, twice now, and this is unusual for England. They've not got their line out right. I think someone detached from the line out and rejoined. So they've conceded a free kick. And Jamie George earlier did a rare crooked throw. And it's kicked downfield by Samoa. They didn't make touch, but that's not that important given it was a free kick. And as Marchant then clears it to touch, Samoa do get a nice territory gain, and they've got the line out, 10-metre line inside English territory. England 8, Samoa 14, 10 minutes left of the first half.
Yeah, licking their lips, Samoa, aren't they, at the moment? Cat's talking about the momentum, but there's a spring in the step of Samoans. They're buzzing around, they're giving the calls there. Come on then, let's do this move, let's do that move, let's manipulate the opposition, let's break it up so we can get all the runners in. There you go, quick one at the front.
Yeah, nicely done from Samoa. The centres combine, then Sopawanga gives it to the left winger for Mai, and now it's Wong who's on his hat-trick. He kicks it through. And it's a word about Danny Tawala, the inside centre, who's been prominent with ball in hand, and it was his kick for Nigel Wong's try. The second try Wong scored, the second try Samoa have scored, and with 8.5 minutes left of this gripping first half in Lille, it's Samoa who have a 6-point lead. And do you think, Matt Dawson, that England just got sucked in a bit after that Chesham try?
100%, Chris. You're absolutely right. Got sucked in, and England were playing well, but they just got sucked into that extra step.
And now Mitchell's kick's gone straight up, and this could fall for Samoa to score again. Pia'oa's gone in, and this will definitely be checked. But Pia'oa has scored, and it looks from the body language like Samoa think it's good, and England are concerned. They'll check the ricochet, they'll check if it went forward, but the fullback Duncan Pia'oa was the first to react. The try's been given, and Samoa, unless this is chalked off, have got a third try. From that loose Mitchell kick, the ball bounced everywhere, including into the hands of Duncan Pia'oa, who has scored Samoa's third.
We've got a try there.
Yeah, terrible kick from Alex Mitchell, and he went to regather it. I think it hit him in the chest as he jumped up to catch it. It bounced back, And then Ben Earls tried to get back, but has only palmed it further backwards towards his own line. And there you have it. Kiowa scooping it up. Swallow dive, Chris Ashton style.
And then playing the
Third try.
Try's good, right?
Just England seem to be crumbling at the real basics. I mean, giving away, this has all come from that line out where they gave away the free kick. Samoa have played really smartly. They've built into the game. They've gone through it. They put in a nice kick and a good chase on it. And then, yeah, the box kick from Mitchell was dreadful. That must have gone 40 metres up and about a metre forwards, and then Samoa just are capitalising on it. So that England's skill set at the minute letting them down.
19-8 Samoa lead.
No, sorry, Chris. I was just about to say it doesn't change the fact that England go into a quarter-final, does it? However, there's going to be some selection issues here. I think something like a scrum half under the pressure.
Sopawanga for 2. He's pushed this one across. Stays 19-8 to Samoa, 6 till the half.
There is, you can only play your way out of the 15 on a game like today. Oh, hello. TMO's jumped in.
Oh, they're
So
checking.
we're going to have a look and see if 13 blue touches this when the ball is bobbling.
Right, this is really unusual because I'd have thought this check would have been done by now. The kick has happened, and now the TMO has come in to say
I'll tell you when the pictures come up.
It's coming up now
they
for
think
you.
it's gone forward off Manu, the outside centre. They're looking so closely
has the white bandage on his arm.
Let's listen in.
And that's his hand that touches that last going forward.
Okay, so it's come off 13 Blue's hand. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Can you definitively, we're obviously looking at a replay where there are just a melee of hands together.
Just
definitively did it come off the Samoan player? It's difficult to tell. I know this can't be connected, but the conversion was already taken. There was no question whatsoever. It had a feel of Spurs-Liverpool in the week,
and then from there,
and that you need to come back because the TMO has said, no, actually, there is a knock-on.
Yeah, they didn't rush the kick, it was weighted, it came through, so you think that that's over. You're not scrolling back to look for something. It does seem a really odd thing to do, and I mean, we know that we want the right decisions made, but that seems crazy to come in so late. No one in the crowd is enjoying that decision either, but Samoa end up with the penalty.
Right, yeah. I mean, even the England fans are whistling. Well, maybe not all of them, but was that clear and obvious? That seemed a tight call on Samoa, who still lead by 14-8. They get the penalty, as Kat was saying. They had advantage from England being offside. Sopawanga kicks it into the corner. Right, the rugby continues here on 5 Live. But if you're with us on Sports Extra, you want the rugby, switch over to 5 Live. But if you're on Sports Extra for Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest at Selhurst Park, here it is with Ray Houghton and Conor McNamara. Into the corner it goes. It's all happening. I mean, we wonder whether this would be a bit flat, a bit dead rubbery. Anything of the sort. England 8, Samoa 14. Samoa 5-metre line out, won by McFarland, who hands it down with one hand. And now Malolo comes steaming round the corner. Malolo up to within 5. There for Tamateni, the 9. Shaka Blonde. What hands! Oh, one for the hat-trick!
He's not finished that.
Oh, has he got that down? This is just special rugby from the Samoans.
Foot's in touch.
Okay, foot's in touch.
Oh, it's been ruled out, I think, already. Foot in touch.
I was going to say that would be his first one. His second try was near impossible, but that one would just be an absolutely incredible finish. So looking across, Mitchell trying to tackle him. He's in the air. Is it there? Yeah, foot in touch, just shy.
England line out. They're going already. Jamie George to Curry, who is melted. That was in the air, I think. So I wonder if that's going to be a penalty. No, referee braces have it. So much going on here in Lille. Almost at half-time. England 8, Samoa 14. But Samoa have had a try ruled out, and then they've gone for one in the corner that was inches away. England are on their own line. Mitchell finds George. The Samoans' body language is transformed. That Dawson, you were talking about a slightly scatty warm-up from the men in blue. They look razor-focused and sharp now because they know they are potentially going in with a half-time lead against England.
Yeah, when you're playing against teams like Samoa, you've got to nullify the danger. And England have actually just poured petrol onto the fire. That's the Samoa fire is burning brightly, more brightly as the minutes go by. England just need to take the sting out of it very, very quickly, and that's by being precise, accurate. And they're going to obviously get a set piece here, go through their routines, diffuse the situation. Senior players stand up. This is all very easy from 100 odd yards away up in the stand. But it's well within England's control, this game, Kat, for me. It's not as if it's a runaway train and, oh my goodness me, what's going to happen. It just needs a few tweaks here and there.
Yeah, I don't think the attack has actually been terrible. We saw a good try. We've seen some good set piece as well, seen some that needs work. But actually, for me, the defence has just been caught sleeping at times. I think it was Laws that ended up getting handed off just before the try, which you just don't see that often, and just not sharp enough, not switched on enough in that defensive mindset, and maybe they underestimated Samoa and they're being caught out for that.
England are going to work at the scrum after Samoa's lineup wasn't straight. Mitchell down the blind side, almost up to the halfway line. 3 minutes left at till half time as Samoa win the penalty, and they are jumping up and down Samoa. Body language is
that's what
of a team that is
but this is what
cock a hoop.
It's exactly what we've just been, Kat and I, just talking about. They're the little Johnny Mays coming flying in crazy. I'm going to go and clear the ruck. No, just clear the ruck. Make it really, really easy and basic, and we can regroup. We can go through our phases. But you know, a crazed error all of a sudden then makes you're back in onto your own 22. Now, it's Samoa. It's a game England will, I think, still probably win. When you're playing against the big dogs later in the tournament, you cannot be making those sorts of mistakes.
Yeah, it's always been the challenge for this England side, dealing with adversity. They did it so well in Marseille in that first game, but they've got real adversity here as we tick towards half-time. England trailed by 6, and it has been all Samoa for, I would say, at least 20-25 minutes. They've scored a couple of tries, they've had others disallowed. They're carrying with real aggression and intensity as Malolo goes through now. They're only 5 metres out, England all at sea. Alatoa of Leinster to within a couple of metres. They pick and go. Every Samoan wants the ball. Every Samoan is desperate to have a go at this English defence. They're only a couple of metres out. Alatoa carries once more, and there are numbers to the right for Samoa. Sopawanga, there's a juggle, back to Sopawanga. He's almost going through, the former All Black. Still 5 metres out. Outside centre, Manu with a little dart to within 3. Atoje getting in there looking for the turnover, and Manu Atoje's done a job there for England, and there are smiles almost of relief from the England players because they needed that desperately, and now they can tick things down to half-time, get inside and try and regroup.
Such an important turnover. Dorse, you said it earlier about doing the crazy things like flying off your feet, doing things you wouldn't normally do. One thing Atoje does very, very well, world class at it, is knowing when he can go in for that turnover. That was the exact moment it needed, everything going against them to get that, relieve the pressure, get out of the before half-time and just get out of that danger zone. So incredible timing from Atoje.
Right, be a nice opportunity here for England on their own 10-metre line. Don't need to rush it, go through the process, actually get into the half-time on the back of some nice attack or maybe some points.
Good line-out drill, Jamie George, but they couldn't get their maul going, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do a couple of phases, then go to half-time.
Okay.
And Alex Mitchell is taking his time. A really good point's been made by the rugby correspondent at the Times, Alex Lowe. The 90 seconds for the conversion needs to be added back on now, doesn't it? Given that the try didn't stand. And England win the penalty. From the kick, Samoa are crossing. And Farrell, this is probably within his range, Matt Dawson, which would be a nice way of sort of stemming that Samoan tide, but instead it looks like George Ford is going for the corner. He is doing that, so England are ending the half after soaking up all that Samoan pressure with a line out 15 metres out.
Yeah, and there is no other option than catching the ball and driving it forward and scoring a really boring England try. All right, and celebrate it. Everyone's out of their seats, England fans. You're running, chest pumped up. Okay, we've weathered the storm.
Nice line out from Jamie George to Courtney Laws. Heave is the instruction. The England fans implore the pack to stick this up the jumper and try and drive Samoa over, but the Samoans are holding firm for now. George is at the back. They're getting a little bit of traction now, are England. Samoa spoil. Forward, it shoots out to Farrell. There's a knock on, and that will be half-time. They haven't added the 90 seconds back on. That's an oversight from the officials, and the Samoans are sprinting in at half-time. What a half of rugby they've had. It is 14-8 at the break, and Matt Dawson, the last time, or the only time, England have trailed at half-time against Samoa. Do you remember it?
Didn't we have 16 men on the pitch at the time?
I think that was later in the game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, towards the end. But
2003.
Yeah, thanks to Ross Petty. 2003, England found themselves in a similar position. 13-16 that day. This time it's 8-14. Samoa lead at half-time. Your thoughts?
And very similar. Lots of flashbacks. And it's a long time ago. And even the way that Samoa attacked us back 20 years ago, very similar to today. We were loose, like England were loose today, and it was to their advantage. It was to England's advantage. Scored a brilliant try, but it's that knowledge of knowing when to shove it up your jumper a little bit and take the sting and pace out of the game, because those driving mauls are energy zapping. They really are against Samoa. But if you just play this expansive game against Samoa, they're going to rise to it. They're going to energise off it. So I know I'm trying and have been relatively calm about the whole England thing at the moment. I think they've got plenty in the tank for the second half, and maybe the coaches will be relaying some of those messages that we've spoken about.
Well, I think it was that last line out. You said it, there should have been a driven line out. It came out, they went to go hands, it got a knock on. Under pressure, you have to do what you're good at. That, in those pressure moments, you've got to resort to those, because everyone knows what they're doing. It can then bring you to then calm, and then you can play however you like. But in pressure moments, the big moments, that's when you've really got to pull together.
Well, Mark, been a lot of fun to watch this one. Maybe not, though, for the England players. England 8, Samoa 14, half-time.
It has been a lot of fun to watch. Thanks to Chris and Kat and Matt, and we will be back for the second half. Couple of late games in England in the National League. Dorking are playing Barnet this evening, and they've taken an early lead of the home side. Dorking 1, Barnet 0. The late Premier League game is at Selhurst Park. Rob Nothman.
And it's Palace 0, Forest 0. Good atmosphere, but a moderate start to the game. Not a shot in anger. Two big players missing. Eza for Palace. Edouard is back for them. And Awonyi is missing, injured for Nottingham Forest. And up front is the New Zealander Chris Wood. If Forest win today, they'll go above Palace in the league. So far, it's 0-0.
Sports Extra, if you want to listen to that this evening. Elsewhere today, here are the main sport headlines for you. Scott McTominay scored twice in injury time as Manchester United came from behind to beat Brentford 2-1. Everton got their first home win of the season, a 3-0 victory against Bournemouth. Chelsea came from behind to beat Burnley 4-1. 10-man Tottenham won 1-0 at Luton. It finished Fulham 3, Sheffield United 1. So it does mean that ahead of Arsenal, Manchester City, which you can hear tomorrow on 5 Live, Tottenham are top of the Premier League this evening. Leicester are top of the Championship after they beat Stoke. Second placed Ipswich beat third place Preston 4-2. Middlesbrough's good run continues. They've won 5 on the spin, 4 of those in the Championship after a 4-0 win at Sunderland. Portsmouth stay top of League One after they beat Port Vale. Celtic have seen off Kilmarnock to stay top of the Scottish Premiership. And the Rugby Union World Cup, away from the England game, Wales beat Georgia 43-19. But Talupe Faletau is out of the tournament with a broken arm. Wigan are through to the Super League Grand Final after they thrashed Hull KR. South Africa are on course to beat Sri Lanka at the Men's Cricket World Cup after posting a record score at the tournament in the process. Frankie Dettori won his 500th race at Newmarket circuit, as Inspiral won the Sun Chariot Stakes. Max Verstappen could win the F1 world title tonight. We'll be in Qatar later to see if he can do it. That will be at full time in the Rugby Union. Then it's Scotland-Ireland at 8 here on 5 Live, and Josh Warrington, Lee Wood at 10. It is 19 minutes to 6. Fraser Dainton has the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. Israel says it's carrying out airstrikes on Gaza in response to an unprecedented series of attacks by the Palestinian militant group Hamas, whose fighters have launched more than 2,000 rockets and entered Israeli cities and towns by land and sea. The number of deaths on both sides continues to rise. At least 100 Israelis have been killed, with just under 1,000 injured. Officials in Gaza say nearly 200 Palestinians have died. Our bureau chief in Jerusalem, Joe Flotto, says Israel believes its armed forces would have prevented attacks by Hamas.
We have to go back decades before we get to this level of casualties amongst the Israeli population. We understand that dozens of hostages, both military and civilian, have been taken. Some we know from footage that's been released by Hamas, and others have been taken back into the Gaza Strip. This is an extraordinary situation, and one for which the Israeli military may have planned, but it's unlikely that anyone will be entirely prepared for what this now means for the coming days and weeks.
A spokesperson for the Israeli Defense Forces has confirmed that soldiers and civilians have been abducted by Hamas militants, but the military is not confirming the number of hostages. There's been widespread international condemnation of the attacks by Hamas. Israel says that in a phone call between President Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu, Washington made it clear that it fully supports the right to self-defense. Here, the Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, says he was appalled by what's happened.
The UK completely condemns these terrorist acts against Israel, and we support Israel's right to self-defense. And of course, we will be working closely with the Israeli government. We're already in contact to protect British nationals in Israel.
And you can keep up to date with the events as they unfold on the BBC News website and app.
The Losail International Circuit. Longitude and latitude 25 degrees 29 minutes 24 seconds north. 51 degrees 27 minutes 15 seconds east. 3.367 miles in length. 16 turns.
F1 live race commentary from the Qatar Grand Prix Sunday evening from 5:45
on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra.
With the DRS so it's an instruction, George. Swap positions.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman
on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's go to Qatar now, because Max Verstappen could win the title this evening. Harry Benjamin.
The sun has set, the lights have come on at the Losail International Circuit. It's actually the two McLarens who will start the sprint race this evening from the front row. The Australian rookie Oscar Piastri ahead of Lando Norris. Max Verstappen starts third after having a lap deleted in qualifying for track limits, but all he needs is a 6th place finish in the sprint to become a 3-time F1 champion, regardless of where his teammate Sergio Perez finishes. The Mexican starts in 8th. Full coverage of the sprint is online, lights out from 6:30, and then once the rugby's had full time, we'll be over on 5 Live.
To the day's Premier League football, Manchester United somehow got all 3 points at home to Brentford this afternoon. Scott McTominay scoring twice in injury time to give them a 2-1 win. He spoke afterwards to Steve Bauer.
Scott, what a moment, what a finish. Is it possible to put that adrenaline rush into words?
No, probably not, to be fair. It was probably one of my favourite moments ever on a football pitch, I think. It was special, and obviously for the fans we were in a real difficult moment at the minute, but as you say, Man United's about not giving up and keep going, never give up.
You were in a difficult moment, you came on. What was your instruction, just to try and add numbers in the box?
Yeah, you probably just got and scored, to be fair. The stadium was really loud at the time, so he was just saying, go and show them, and that was it. And obviously I was fortunate one to get the 2 goals, but as you say, it could have been anyone, but at the moment we just need to pick ourselves up, come back from the international break and really kick on, because I think we need to as a team now.
Could that be a watershed moment, a flip positively?
Yeah, things like that can almost change the dynamics of what's happening and all the talk around people saying this, that and the other. We just need to concentrate on our own little bubble and concentrate on us and nobody else.
I watched you when you scored the first and easily get the ball. That's the Man United of old, isn't it? We can score again, there's still time.
Of course, that's always the way. Whenever we're at home and we're drawing 1-1, we need to get the ball, we need to go and get another. And they were wasting a lot of time, which is fair play to them, because that's what they're going to do, because they're winning the game. But there should have been probably more added minutes and we could have maybe nicked another.
What was that feeling like when you see the header go in? You know you've won it with the last touch of the ball virtually.
Yeah, it's special, you know. It's hard to put into words really, because I've been at Man United my whole life since I was 5 years old, and for me this football club has been everything. And I was watching David Beckham's documentary last night, and things like that inspire, and the real culture about Man United and what it means to the fans and the people who work here, Carphone reception, people like that. That's what we do it for, and that's what it means the most too. So yeah, I mean, obviously really pleased, but I think it's now the team needs to kick on.
Scott McTominay with Steve Barr. Match of the day 10:30 tonight on BBC One. 10-man Tottenham at lunchtime beat Luton 1-0, so they're top of the table. Yves Bissouma sent off 2 yellow cards in the first half, the second for diving. Mickey van der Ven got the only goal. Here's Ange Postecoglou with John Southall.
There's always going to be a challenge today because of the way Luton play. They're going to challenge you physically with a lot of long balls and balls in the box, and I thought we handled them really well.
Yeah, how pleased were you? I mean, you've won in a lot of different ways this season, but how you saw it out in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's just another side that we're going to have to show. You know, over the course of a season, you're going to get challenged in different ways, and today was, you know, we had to sort of show another side of our game, and I thought we did. You know, the guys coming on, Pierre came on at half time, and all the subs really helped us with the energy they gave and their discipline. And they had a couple of chances, but we had a couple of chances ourselves, and I just thought, for the context of the game, I just thought we handled it really well.
Has this start exceeded your expectations? Could you have expected this when you came in?
Don't have expectations, mate.
Didn't have any?
Zero expectations. I go into every season just with the wonderment of a young man just looking at the future and seeing what it can bring, mate.
We're all the same.
Thank you.
Ange Postecoglou with John Southall. Burnley took the lead at Turf Moor against Chelsea, but Maurizio Pochettino's side came back to win 4-1. Here he is with Gary Flintoff.
Maurizio, many congratulations. You had to work hard, you dug in, you came from behind. How good a feeling was that?
Very good, I think always. Premier League games always are tough. Yes, even if we concede, I think the team was playing well. And always it's tough, but I think the team was solid and showed great performance. I'm so pleased for the players, they deserve the whole credit.
Do you feel Raheem Sterling played with a point to prove today?
I think always a striker need to score and need to feel confident in front of the goal. I think we were clinical and he was involved in 3 goals. Important for him, important for the team. Always is good when the offensive players score goals. Yes, of course. Ryan have a good experience, and in the Premier League, and it's good when he scores.
You were pressing, you were asking questions, a bit of fortune about the equalising goal, but how much did that change your half-time team talk?
Yes, after 7 games or 7, no. Yes.
About time you got some luck?
Yeah, one occasion to have luck. 8 after 7, today 8. Yes, to have some luck. Yes, we deserve that.
Everton got their first home league win of the season by beating Bournemouth 3-0. Sean Dyche afterwards spoke with John Bennett.
Sean, you must be absolutely delighted about that. You said your team needed to be more clinical. That's exactly what they were.
Yeah, it's only fair to mention, because I mentioned it over the last few weeks, the XG again was massive for us. The quality of chances, not just the chances. I've always said I prefer quality rather than quantity, but it is nice when the mixture's right. So therefore today, high quality chances, but also the quantity of chances. And I'm a great believer if you keep doing that, it does pay you back, and I'm pleased it did today with some fine finishing, and we actually missed easier or more comfortable chances, if you like, on the eye, but fine finishes to make sure we won the game today.
It was a great start, wasn't it, after 8 minutes? Was that important today, after the way you'd started at home this season, to get a good start, get the fans behind you?
Not really, because we've started very well at home this season, actual performances, that is, but they've got to lead to wins. And we don't like ugly wins in the sense of that you can't build on an ugly win all the time, you can't build on a lucky win, but you can build on performances. So it's important we reaffirm to the players their performance levels. It will pay you back, but you've got to force it to, and I thought today I was really pleased with that, both with the pressing element of the game, the defending element of the game, but then turning defending situations into attacks, and then staying calm enough to make sure we scored goals. And particularly the first one, it's a very good finish from Jimmy. Second one's a fine finish, to be fair. That's not about the team calm. It's come out of the box, and what a finish from Jack. And then a really good finish of Duke, nice and alive in the box. We like that about how he plays. So 3 different goals, 3 very pleasing goals, and other chances created in many different ways, and I want that about the side. How many times can you affect a team in different ways? And we certainly affected them in a number of ways today.
The other Premier League game at 3 o'clock finished Fulham 3, Sheffield United 1, approaching the midway point of the first half at Selhurst Park, and it is still goalless between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. All over at the Cricket World Cup, South Africa have a win on the board. Henry Moran.
They do. They win by 102 runs here in Delhi against...
Oh, and that's the end of Henry, but they won by 102 runs, did South Africa. Tomorrow it is Australia against the hosts India. Teams coming back out in Lille. England have it to do in this second 45 minutes. Back to Chris Jones.
The teams are out and they are ready to go. Lima Sopawanga was gesturing to the referee as if to say, can I go, can I go? The Samoans no doubt want to pick up exactly where they left off at the end of the first half. They lead by 14 points to 8, and what will Steve Borthwick have said to England, who led 8-0 and then were just met by a Samoan onslaught? 2 tries from the men in blue. It could have been more. Another one perhaps harshly ruled out, and England through Alex Mitchell clear their lines up to halfway, where Samoa are unable to take it quickly. Right, Matt Dawson, what do you want from England at the start of this second half?
Just that. I want the basics done well. Good kick-off. From England's perspective, good clearance from Alex Mitchell, who, someone somewhere would have certainly not been giving him a telling off, but just going through a few focal points, going through some technique.
Here's Samoa, McFarlane, who was just phenomenal in that first half. He won the line out, then it's driven on by Brian Allen Auec. Now they attack. Itoje comes through, he knocks that on in the tackle. So good line speed from Maro Itoje, but he knocked it on Cat Merchant. But perhaps a sign there that England have been instructed by their coaches to show a bit more aggression in defence.
Yeah, I can't imagine that wouldn't have been a topic for conversation in that changing room. Defence has to step up massively, and in attack, just those basics done well, because actually when they got their try and the way they started playing was attacking the midfield, then we'll look to create the phases and then get it wide, and they did that well. And then when the skill set went down or started kicking too much, it all fell apart. So yeah, focusing on that defence is going to be absolutely key the second half.
Sport all the way on 5 Live tonight. After us here in Lille, we'll be at the Qatar Grand Prix. A short break for some 5 Live news, and then from 7:30, all the build-up to that massive game in Pool B between Ireland and Scotland, which kicks off at 8 o'clock. There's live boxing later as well. Just after 10 o'clock, Lee Wood against Josh Warrington. You do not need to go anywhere but 5 Live, BBC Sounds, for all your sport today, as England win the penalty. Samoa keeping the ball in hand, but England spoiling on the floor. And we mentioned it in the first half, Matt Dawson, England just got suckered into the Samoan way of playing, and they'll look to go set piece to set piece maybe and work their way back into this game. They trail by 6.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the way forward for England, and also they want it doesn't matter defensively or in an attacking manner about set piece, because if Samoa are going from set piece to set piece, I think England will swallow them up in defence. It's when it gets broken down and the open field gets attacked by Samoa, makes it very dangerous. This is more like it, Jonesy.
Great noise around Lille from the hordes of travelling England fans. England win the line out and set up a maul, but Samoa have done very well to stop England's momentum at the maul, and Mitchell is melted by some Samoan fringe defence, but still there for England and their vice-captain Ellis Gedge, who runs into Bristol teammate Stephen Luatua, who meets him on the advantage line with force. Ben Earl carrying, not seen a huge amount of Earl with the ball in hand. He's having a good World Cup, the Saracen. 22, Samoan territory, centre field for Mitchell. Here's Ford, Chesham for the dummy runner, as is Curry. Stewart out to Laws with good hands to Johnny May, who's gone on a mazy Penno-style run. He gets up off the floor as well, does May. But Samoa's defence holding firm. They lead by 14-8 in the early stages of the second half here in Lille. on the gain lines of Toje, Farrell, Tuolangi loses it, and Samoa could be away here because Sopowanga's got McFarlane. He sends it over to the far side where Paiua is going for the corner. Duncan Paiua, great tackle, but he gets it inside improbably. Is that still there for Samoa? No, Courtney Laws has saved the day for England, but another blistering Samoan attack from an England mistake, and Samoa through Duncan Paiua was almost in at the corner. England are deep in their own 22. They're 5 metres out from their own line, and Mitchell will look for the sanctuary of touch. He's got Stewart behind him, but surely this will be one for Mitchell to kick. He's 3 metres from his own line. Up goes McFarland, who felt that England had detached. Mitchell clears, and another warning sign, Matt Dawson, from the Samoans to England.
Again, though, isn't it? England just not accurate enough. Just needs to make the game so simple that it sort of bores Samoa into making the mistakes, where it's completely the other way. Samoa are squeezing England and forcing them into, not forcing them, are sort of lulling them into thinking they'll go on, then go and play like us, see if you can fling it around a bit.
Although I actually think it was quite unlucky there on Tuolangi, because I think that he was being tackled as he was receiving the ball or slightly before, so I don't know if that was clear set as a massive error like knock on. It did look, the timing of it looked pretty close, but what Samoa do so well is on that turnover, they're just gone. They don't faff around, they just get straight in, and the cover tackle as well from On Paiua was incredible, because I thought he was in there. I really thought that was a foot race for the corner, but Ford does so well to track back and get him.
Yeah, great defence from George Ford, but another brilliant Samoa attack as we get an update from Selhurst Park with Rob Nothman.
It's still Palace 0, Forest 0, but Forest on top and very nearly in front with what would have been one of the goals of the season. 70-yard ball forward. Gibbs White hit it on the volley, looped it over the goalkeeper, but it hit the post. It's 0-0.
Thank you very much, Rob Nothman at Palace. That game is over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. England 8, Samoa 14, 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the Rugby World Cup. As Tom Curry goes off for blood and Billy Vunipola comes on. On that note, I do wonder, Matt Dawson and Kat Merchant, our pair of World Cup winners, as and when Steve Borthwick decides to use his bench. Billy Vunipola is coming into the fray and might just be temporary if that's a blood replacement for Curry.
Yeah, we were talking about that at half-time. We wondered if there was going to be making changes. Perhaps Mitchell might have been brought off. Billy is a good shout to bring on as well, just to give that oomph, that go forward, which at the minute they have been lacking a bit in that England attack.
Well, I tell you what, Samoa's line-out is working like clockwork, and they go inside to Malolo the hooker, whose throw was right on the money. 22 in English territory, and another Samoan score would leave a bit of a mountain to climb for England, who are already qualified for the last 8, but they'll be desperate to continue the momentum they've gathered with their 3 wins so far in this tournament. A defeat by Samoa would be not great preparation for a likely quarter-final against Fiji a week tomorrow, as Fritz Lee drives on into the 22, about 15 metres out or so for Samoa. Can they craft something against this English defence? They've already scored twice. 6 minutes into the second half in Lille, as Samoa drive on. Courtney Law's trying to steal, but it's there for inside centre Tuala with a direct carry. He's having a good game, is Tuala. Tamateni, here comes the tight head Ala Alatoa, who's been prominent in the loose. Again they come in waves, these big Samoan carriers. The magnificent McFarlane, now Fritz Lee of Clermont. Great offload to Danny Tuala. They're playing some special rugby here, are Samoa. Tamateni, Sopowanga's been inspired at 10. The former All Black, benefiting from the eligibility changes, as has Fritz Lee. Used to play for New Zealand Sevens, now available for Samoa. Advantage being played to Samoa. Stephen Luatua, ball out to the man on a hat-trick, Wong. He kicks through, England dot it down. Back for the penalty. And now Samoa have a call to make. Kat Merchant and Matt Dawson. This looks pretty central for Sopoaga, so do wonder whether he goes for goal to try and build a lead. What are you saying, Kat?
Yeah, you wonder if that might be the time to go for it. But then England are under pressure. They've just given 2 offsides away. Referees just feeding back into now. So, but the sensible decision is build, go for points. But and they have. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I think. We're going to, within the next 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to get into that sort of fatigue territory for Samoa. Even the fact they're with advantage, it only went 2 phases, and then it was a pretty,
Okay, sorry, Liam.
It was a nothing kick into the corner to try and re-get. You're never going to score in a million years, which just said, right, let's take the penalty rather than going through the phases and building a score and. Building pressure and going for the 7-pointer. So it's a sensible option. Regroup, fluids on.
Sopoaga doesn't miss from there. 17-8 to Samoa. And who would have thought this, Cat, when England scored that Chesham try, Farrell kicked the penalty to break Wilkinson's record. It was 8-0 to England. It looked like routine business in Lille for Steve Borthwick's men. They've chipped 17 straight points. They trail 17-8 as Dan Cole comes off and Carl Sinclair comes on.
I think it's exactly that. I think they scored that try and went, sweet, we're in for a good day here. We're going to win 40-0. And Samoa had other ideas, and England have really had to step up their game, and they need to continue to do so, or Samoa could end up running away with this game.
But from a neutral's point of view, this is exactly what they would have wanted to see from Samoa, who are attacking from their own 22 and doing it brilliantly. And the kick ahead for Awong, who scored those 2 tries. Ford returns a kick of his own deep into Samoan territory. But these Samoan players, the likes of Luatua and McFarlane, who we know are great players, they are doing it on the international stage. As Toala kicks to touch, England will have the line out. And that's just the sign of the Samoan confidence, the way they attack from their own 22.
But Jonesy, the defence in the midfield there is absolutely woeful. Miles away.
I'm all for Samoa being, scoring excellent tries and being great in attack, but that was dreadful defence from England. They were all way too tight around the breakdown, and then a massive gap in between, just inviting them to run through. So they really need to sort their spacings out.
England with the line out, and then they lose the ball. Mitchell and his maul were not on the same page here. So if you're Samoa, you don't want the scrum, you want to keep playing. And Sopoaga, great short ball to Manu, the outside centre, who does the sevens release. He's able to keep playing. 10-metre line inside Samoan territory there for Tamateni, the 9. A little dinky kick for the left winger for Mai, but it's gathered up nicely by Freddie Stewart. Just over the halfway line gallops the Leicester Tiger. England need to get some shape back to their play. They're making loads of mistakes with the ball in hand. Billy Vunipola inside to Earl, that's better. Earl's gone through, and he tried to get the offload away, but he had the beating of Jordan Lay on the fringe. Penalty Samoa though, as Earl is isolated. Andrew Brace often gives rights to the jackler, and Samoa win the penalty there. So that one bright spark from Earl snuffed out straight away. Samoa penalty and a chance to go back into English territory.
We don't need that, guys.
Just a bit excited there after a line break. Decent line break as well from Billy Vunipola onto Ben Earl. Nice Saracen combo.
Clear left on the ball.
They just can't quite get into the... I'm still convinced it's going to happen. It's wonderful to watch Samoa. Just the free-flowing ability to pick people off. You can't tell me the England coaches are not looking at the England backline, Cat, to say...
But England missed their touch, so hold that thought, and then Joe Marchand puts it out on the full. So, Samoa mistake, English mistake.
Sorry about it. So, to say, we've got to shore out that midfield. At the moment, Ford, Farrell, Tuolangi ain't working. It is like a sieve. There you go.
As you say it, Marcus Smith's running on.
OK, so what happens here is that Farrell goes to 10, Marchand goes into the midfield, Smith goes to fullback and Stewart goes to the wing. So it's quite a backline reshuffle, but an insight into Steve Borthwick's thinking. To get Marcus Smith involved, he goes to fullback, but they can't lose Freddie Stewart's aerial dominance, so he's on the wing. Farrell to 10, and just as Matt Dawson was saying the midfield wasn't working, Steve Borthwick acts, but it's quite the drastic reshuffle. And let's see what Marcus Smith can do with half an hour left to play. England 8, Samoa 17. Samoa lose it forward, and England have it through Courtney Laws, who finds Mitchell. Mitchell goes deep to Farrell. They will just play territory all day, England, but they are up against the scoreboard. Farrell's kick is a long one. May's gone herring after it. Samoa will have to kick from out of their dead ball line. That's a good territorial gain in the end. Farrell's kick found grass, made loads of territory. England line out 22.
Yeah, okay, but what I don't get that. What's the point? They got turnover ball. Yes, it was in their own 22, but they're well behind on the scoreboard. England must have had at least 5 players there on 3 Samoa. One of them was Marcus Smith, who's going to beat anybody on the pitch, and Farrell kicks it long.
Yeah, 100% in agreement with that, because it was on. And yeah, we want to settle into a game, but not when you've got a turnover and you just want to go for it. They really could have just ran that, because Samoa would have.
Well, Farrell's round the back. It's advantage to England. The pass is wild and has Stewart on his heels. He's then smashed in the tackle by 2 Samoans, including Lee. But there was no advantage. England won the penalty at the Maul from that line out, and they will, I would imagine, stick it into the corner and go to the Maul again, where they haven't had as much change as they would have liked, but still feels an area of dominance. Cat Merchant.
I'm just thinking of those changes, and it really is just that the back line isn't the change you would have expected. Ford, I think, has played pretty well. He did an amazing cover tackle. Smart player. You want to bring a Marcus Smith on, okay, we'll put him at 10 then, and if you are taking Ford off. So I think the kind of shuffle wasn't the one. You said, Dawson, something was needed, but do you think, is that the route you'd have gone?
Well, and I'm just watching Farrell now, who's kicked it into the corner and has just hitched himself up with cramp.
England win the line out. Ollie Chesham in the middle. The Maul looks pretty solid from England. England 8, Samoa 17. Jamie George at the back. They're all getting involved, including the backs. Joe Marchant's in there. George has peeled away. Malolo's on him, who's a force of nature, the hooker, Sama Malolo. England have it, though, just a metre out. Genge can walk it in here. Ellis Genge up to the line. Johnny May has a chance if they come to the left. Inches short. Mitchell digging for it. May's gone in to help Ruck. 53 minutes on the clock. 5 live from the BBC live in Lille as England drive up to the line. They're short again, but couldn't be much closer. They need a score desperately to get back into this game as Billy Vunipola picks. What will the backs do? They're hugging the touchline through Stewart. Again they drive. And the England fans behind the post think the ball is down. A whole cohort of England fans in white put their arms in the air, and a scuffle's broken out. Listen to the crowd reaction, and we'll have a check, not just for the try, but also the source of that confrontation.
Ellis Genge reacted there. He's gone in unnecessarily. Shows the pressure there, isn't it? It's telling. England know they're underperforming. I know that sounds ridiculous. But
walk away.
England know that they are miles away in this game, and they've got everything.
You've just come on, so I suggest you walk away now.
Is this been the first 3 times?
I suggest you walk away, otherwise you'll leave the field.
Well, you heard Billy Vunipola say to Andrew Brace, he punched me in the face 3 times.
Anything different there from the offside penalty?
So obviously something's happened to spark that off, and it'll be interesting what we see on replay.
Check to see whether he's allowed to reach there.
I suppose it's the pressure of the environment is, and I'm predominantly watching England here because I want to know what their reaction's like under pressure.
On-field decision, no try. I believe the ball is short. We just want to check to see whether the ball was reached to the line line after that.
Okay, stand by. We'll show you the best angle.
The penalty advantage. We'll go back for
just
that.
Stand by, Andy. It's coming now.
Well, they're checking first of all about the try. Ollie Chesham is the ball carrier. He's definitely short there. Then he gets Genge in to help him out. And I don't know if he can reach out like that, can he? Oh, he's definitely scored. That is on the line.
He's only extended his arm.
Do you want to see this in real time, Andy?
Yeah, please.
So if it's quick enough, and it's a quick enough movement, this will be an England try through Chesham. Let's listen in.
And whether he doesn't propel himself.
Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's an extension of the right arm under pressure on the ground. The player is allowed to do that. deemed to be in one movement. That's a reach forward. Try, surely.
Well, they probably need to look at it in full speed, don't they? Slow-mo, can be deceptive.
Because in the slow-mo, definitely looks like it is, and he's landed for too long before he presents. But real time now, this is the one where, from our side, we'll see.
Regardless, he's using his arm to propel himself to go to the line anyway. So
come on, guys, this is not difficult. Watch it in real time. We're watching a slow-mo, which is as slow as the decision being made. Just watch it in real time.
Have a decision, Brian, when you're ready. You can come back to me.
Yes, Andy, we'll come back to you. Just stand by. We're back on you now, Andy.
Okay, so my initial view was he was short and he's using his arm to propel himself to get to the line. So it's no try. It's not one continuous movement. I'm going back to the penalty offside. Unless you have anything different.
No, I don't have anything different.
No try.
Oh, rubbish. Utter rubbish.
It's that you have to look at it full time, full speed. When you're looking at an instant moment, you can't look at it in slow-mo because, of course, it's going to look slow or it's going to look like it's pushed forward. So, really odd decision to keep playing that in slow-mo.
Do you know what I found really amazing there? Not one senior player. How many players have England got with 100 caps? Not one of them went up to the referee and said, "Sir, should we watch that in full speed? Should we watch that in real speed?" Not one. I bet if Sam Warburton was on the pitch, he would be all over it. Terrible decision.
So try ruled out. Referee Andrew Brace deeming it as a propelling forward motion rather than all in one. So a double movement. England, though, do have the penalty advantage. Joe Marler's on at loose head for Genge. Billy Vunipola's now off because Curry's been patched up his blood injury. He's got that tape job around his forehead once more as England kicks the corner, win the line out. George to Chesham, whose try was chalked off. Still 17-8 to Samoa. England still 9 behind, but loads of time left in Lille. 55 minutes on the clock. England's maul has been really well repelled time and time again by Samoa, but this time England look like they're quite well set. Can they keep motoring forward, or will it stop? What's Mitchell going to do? What are the backs got up their sleeves? Mitchell comes to the left, he dummies, tries to get past Tamateni. Johnny May does well to get in there and ruck, but it's a penalty to Samoa. Mitchell isolated, and that's again shoddy execution from England, who waste a magnificent opportunity with the 5-metre line out. And Samoa are slapping each other on the back and chest, bouncing to each other chest on chest. Incredible energy around the Samoan camp. They get the penalty, they lead 17-8. Cat Merchant.
Well, it's that point again of, like, under pressure, do the things that you're used to, and what you don't do is a couple of metres out, do a 9-pick to the blind side without support going with it. If he's sniping, that's different, but never in a million years do you do that. You get your big boys in, you get them over the line, you keep going until you score.
Well, Samoa missed touch, and May doesn't need a second invitation to run it back. Johnny May makes a metre or two after contact. 25 metres out or so, maybe a couple fewer, but Ben Earl gets it close to the 22. Mitchell to the right, Marcus Smith with a no-looker to Marchant, who's come inside. Farrell's been hit off the ball, they'll check that, I'm sure. Sinclair out the back to Smith, that's better. Itoje's gone through. Maro Itoje gets the offload to Joe Marchant. Lovely England try. That's more like it from England. Marchant's under the post. I think they'll check the scoring pass, because Itoje just delayed getting it to Marchant. Nika Amashakeli, the Georgian assistant referee, is speaking to referee Andrew Brace. Let's listen in.
The decision is a try. We just want to check to see where the ball was and pass forward.
Yes. Scoring pass. They're checking.
Yeah, quite rightly. It's going to be close. Brilliant interplay. Maro maybe should have given it a split second earlier, but then rode the tackle so well with a one-arm offload. They're also going to be looking at they're going to look at a hit on Owen Farrell off the ball for sure. So I think a minimum penalty to England.
Andy, here's your first angle.
Oh, can't imagine that's going to be given. That looks a bit too forward for me.
Yes. Now, Andy, we'll loop in the off-the-ball tackle by 12 on 12 as well.
Okay. What do you think, Kat? That looks a bit dodgy, the forward pass. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be given, is it?
It does. I think, and the thing is as well, he had two options. He didn't have to give it to Marchant. He could have pulled it back to Laws out the back there, which would have given him more opportunity to not have it so flat and then to end up going forwards.
so it's a penalty only.
Well, it'll definitely be a penalty for England because Farrell was
the 22 on the 15.
Was definitely hit off the ball. It wasn't anything
going back for a penalty
more sinister in terms of a yellow or red card. I think the Samoan player just lined up Farrell, who never ended up getting the ball. But those are the kind of opportunities, Matt Dawson, you've got to execute, haven't you? When you've got the opposition on the run. It was a good break by Mara, but he's got a link there.
It's pressure. It's all part of that pressure game, and it's not instinctive to the England forwards to be playing like that. Really good ball handlers, great players, but if that was a Samoan forward, that would have been instinct just to give the early ball, ride the tackle, pass the ball, no problem, let's move on. Whereas, England haven't played in this style for ever. So it's not quite going to be on tune. I mean, I want them to play like this, don't get me wrong, but they're just the margins at the moment where you're playing against a vast majority of other teams who want to play offload, fast, expansive rugby. When it's on, those players find it a little bit more instinctive.
But a far more positive display from the England attack there. At least they're trying to get it in the right areas. Yes, an error in that last pass, but Marcus Smith injected some real pace, got in behind the defence, managed to get the offload away. And then it's in that moment, if you can't offload it, fine, take it to ground and then just play on from there.
Farrell went for goal and he kicked the goal. Interesting call, but worth England getting some points. They haven't scored since right in the first quarter of the game after Farrell kicked the penalty after Chesham's try. It's been a long time, but England have points and they've cut the gap down to 6. England 11, Samoa 17 as we edge towards the hour. Matt Dawson.
Yeah, Ollie Lawrence coming on for Manatu Langi as well. Samoa ringing in wholesale changes just to freshen up their approach. But yeah, right, I think it was the right option. 3 points within 6, striking distance there with one score.
Kick-off is down the throat of Ben Earl, who sets it up over the 22. England 11, Samoa 17.
Okay, let's take them back.
And is this where Matt Dawson and Cat Merchant, England should have superior fitness, you would imagine? They would have spent more time together over the years, admittedly with new coaching teams, but this is, Mitchell's kick, this has happened before. But Mitchell's kick has hit the wire for the Spider Cam. That's really annoying because that happened in the Stade de France in the 2022 Six Nations, and so it brings the ball right down, and so it will be a scrum. I think it's to the team that kicked it. So yeah, we're all for camera angles and close-ups, but not when the ball hits it. But one on the camera angle, and then one on whether this is where England, even though they're trailing, even though they've been so up against it, should still feel they can get back in this game and take it away in the final 20.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they have any, intentions of going further into this World Cup and making, semis and finals, then they have to. You have to dig deep and you have to pull something out the bag when it's not going your way. And when you are under pressure, it's how you deal with that. Samoa under pressure have seemed to absorb it and then they've been able to attack from it. England are doing things they don't normally do and making errors, and it's shown.
I mean, it's fascinating. England have taken George Ford.
Yeah,
you're chasing the game. You've got to have your attacking weapons. You brought Marcus Smith on for that lovely 13-15 channel broken field play. Why on earth? I mean, Owen Farrell, okay, you played brilliantly for Saracens, but whenever you've played at fly half for England, that is not part of the way that Owen Farrell plays 10.
For me, it shows it's a panic. It's a panic from the coaching setup to go, I know what we'll do. We'll just put Farrell back at 10. Now, England with George Ford at 10 did very well. He had an outstanding game, and they've just gone to type. They've gone, oh no, something's not working, must be Ford. No, actually, back yourself, back your decision, and actually look at, yes, that 10, 12, 13 combo wasn't working, but it wasn't Ford that was the problem.
As the scrum takes a while to get set. Let's go to Rob for half-time at Selhurst Park. Rob Northman at Palace.
And it's Crystal Palace 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Not a half of beauty. A number of key players missing on both sides with injuries, and it shows. Two moments of class from Forest. Gibbs White volley hit the post, and then Brazilian defender Murillo with a mazy dribble and shot, saved by Sam Johnston. Palace 0, Forest 0.
Thank you very much, Rob Northman. Commentary of Palace Forest over on 5 Sports Extra. Farrell kicks. Oh, what hands. That was awesome from Ah Wong, who gave it to Paea-Oa, who then kept the ball alive, and some of the skill on show from the Samoans has been a joy to behold. Hour gone in Lille as the sun sets in northern France. England 11, Samoa 17, and for a dead rubber, it has been totally captivating. Do Samoa have the reinforcements off the bench and the energy to keep it going for another 20, given how well they've played with the ball in hand for the hour of the game we've had? Tamatene, the 9, with his long blonde hair, he kicks over the halfway line where Johnny May takes it, and is tackled by Ah Wong. George Martin is on in the engine room. Fritz Lee's there, and England don't resource that ruck, but they get a penalty.
You've affected the clean, affected the turnover 17 in the road.
Because number 17, James Lay, didn't get out the way. So perhaps a bit fortuitous for England, because they didn't set the ball back very cleanly. Farrell lamps into the 22 England line out in attacking territory.
Yeah, and now's where they really need to, take their shot. As you said, they've not got over the try line since the first kind of quarter, and so really need to. It's not just about points now, it's going to be about scoring. So the line-out's not where they'd want it to be for a driven one, a little bit too far out for that. So they're going to have to start thinking about what plays they're going to come off it.
Again, love this position from England. It's just inside the opposition 22. Nothing complex. Don't overthink it. Farrell, Lawrence, Marchant, all super flat. So it's either going to be off the top, crash ball, or a driven line out. Make it simple. 2, 3, 4 phases. Knock it on. Give it to, or just give it to Samoa.
George Martin got up and just dropped it at the front of the line, and he also made a handling error just now when he carried the ball. So the young replacement Lester Locke just struggling to get into the game. England do put enough pressure on Sopawanga to get a line out not too far from when they originally threw in. So Jamie George jogs over, and England will have a line out just below us, in between the 22 and the 10-metre line in Samoan territory, but they still trail England, with Samoa leading 17-11, 18 minutes left. And the last thing England want is a few jitters in their line. Now that's better from Martin. Finds Mitchell into midfield, and Marchant, and then Ollie Lawrence. Good carry, Ollie Lawrence over a couple of Samoans, including Manu, the outside centre. Joe Marler now, Owen Farrell, Freddie Stewart's out on the right touchline. Alex Mitchell comes to Martin. Farrell, Lawrence, Joe Marchant, Chesham hugging this left touchline. Good carry, Ollie Chesham, and he does that Samoan tactic of leaving the ball on the floor to try and be able to play on Seven style, but he then loses it. So England's accuracy is just not there at the moment, Kat, and it will be a line out to Samoa.
Yeah, I like what Lawrence is bringing though to this back line, and he's really getting some good go forward, carrying strong, and that's what England need, that initial setup. He's bouncing players out of his way, his carry, really good presentation, and Chesham has played really well today, but this just needs to sort of be carried, and then this needs to be a ruck rather than pick it up off the floor. There was no need to try and do that and force it. Actually just let the ruck happen, build the phases, and England, I believe, will score if they do that rather than trying to force it too early.
Yes, we're getting into the sort of the interesting part of the game now, where ordinarily you would have thought that England would have a stranglehold on Samoa and then just accelerate away with a demotivated Samoan team, and obviously we're nowhere near that. So what, if you were the coaching side, what are you thinking now? Well, okay, maybe I need to make some key changes. Yeah, the fact that I'm looking at Jamie George, who's being treated for physio at the moment, they're obviously not confident on putting Theo Dan on in a key role. Alex Mitchell hasn't played his best game for England, and yet there's no If I was a scrum half, I would be fuming if I was Danny Kerr right now, because I would think that I've got a good vision of the game and watching the game and listening to the coaches and thinking what we should be doing, what we're not doing. As a key decision maker, you're thinking, surely this is my time, when the guy in the 9 jersey is, maybe just having a slight off-form day.
And this is where, World Cups, they are different to other, and it's having that experience, as you said, that can have a massive advantage.
Who's the captain?
Well, they're checking, I think, for a tackle off the ball. Let's listen in.
Second one off the ball tackle. Yeah, against your 18. Okay, so you just need to tidy up that. 2 off the ball tackles is a penalty against him, 18.
5 metres outside the 22.
Yeah.
Right, so England have got another chance here because they'll kick the goal, won't they?
Yeah.
If they kicked it at 17-8, they'll definitely kick it, you'd think, at 17-11. But they've got a penalty because Paul Aloamile, the replacement tight head, has hit Jamie George, who was one of those decoy runners on the advantage line.
It's off the ball tackle.
Yeah,
5 metres outside
I
the
think
22.
this is the right, given the context of the game right now. You take the 3 points. It's about winning the game. Squeeze Samoa, who are obviously getting tired. Even the replacements are coming on and get a bit headless, running around, giving penalties for unnecessary tackles.
He never had the ball, so don't tackle him off the ball.
They're still talking to the Samoans, the officials. Andrew Brace, you would have heard there saying don't tackle off the ball. A couple of times Samoa have just got their timing wrong. Nothing too high or too dangerous to merit a yellow or red card, but a penalty and 2 little lapses of discipline have given England an opening back into this game. There's still loads of time left, 16 minutes plus. England 11, Samoa 17. This is to cut the gap from 6 to 3, and it's bang in front. Owen Farrell could kick this in his sleep. Sort of bit of a nervous buzz around the stadium in Lille. England fans in outstanding voice earlier, but they've seen their team really stretch. The shot clock, he's right on the edge here, Farrell. He's missed the shot clock. Yeah, he's missed it. Right, that was ticking down, and he didn't kick it in time. And really, he can't have many excuses. The clock is there. They're giving a full 60 seconds for penalties, and he kicked it about a second or 2 after it went dead, and that's not what you need, is it?
I've got my hands on my head. I think looked at Dawson, both speechless of kind of what to say, and saying that they need to tighten up, they need to do the basics well, and they need to bring intensity, and then you do something like that. It's I don't want to be negative about England, I don't want to be negative about anyone, but England are making it really hard to try and put a positive spin on some of the performances today.
And it started so wonderfully. What feels like about 2 hours ago. England were aligned, they were dynamic, they were accurate, brilliant try. We were all talking about how quick that first 15 or 20 minutes just flew by. England looked in tune and they were weathering the storm, and then there was just that one interception pass from Jamie George which gave Samoa the momentum to go into that try, and it's as if England just shriveled up and tightened up into, hold on a minute, no, Samoa can score tries. It's like, no, everything's fine, we've made one mistake, just relax. And really, from then on, it's been a very scrappy, disjointed, I don't know, like really sort of misdirected performance from England, when it's glaringly obvious to everybody else what they could be doing.
Well, we've had a water break here, still hot. I mean, it's cooled a little bit with the sun setting 7:30 local time, but it's been a gorgeous hot day, lovely conditions, albeit warm. So they've had a water break, 15 minutes left. It is crunch time in this game, and it has not gone the way many expected. Huge credit has to go to Samoa, who have produced by far their best performance of the Rugby World Cup. They beat Chile but lost to Argentina and Japan, the 2 games they would have targeted if they had aspirations of getting out the pool. They now win a long arm penalty. So from Farrell missing the shot clock, i.e. not kicking his goal in time, it was a scrum to Samoa, then they've won the scrum penalty, and now it's a test of Samoa's composure, because, Matt, they've shown an inordinate amount of skill and ambition and energy, but can they show that composure to see out the win and pull off arguably the most famous victory in Samoan rugby history?
Well, I mean, Samoa are coming into that into the sort of realms of decision-making heaven. Do they shove it up their jumper, or do they play the way that they've been playing and appreciate that they have got momentum, they have got the mindset? England are struggling with the way that Samoa play. I would prefer them that they did that.
Samoa, through Motuga, the replacement, they won the line out via the outstanding McFarlane. Halfway line, replacement 9 is on Matavayo. That ball has been lost by England, but it was a legal challenge, going to be yellow card, and this is what Samoa can ill afford. This is precisely what could cost Samoa a lapse in discipline, a couple of off-the-ball penalties. That's tried the patience of referee Andrew Brace, and now a player's gone. An England player's been taken out in the air. Tamua Manu, the outside centre, had a good game. He's going to the bin cap merchant. England will play against 10 minutes against 14 men.
Yeah, and it's rightly so. It's a yellow, I think, even if the taken off the ball ones weren't there earlier. He's timed that completely wrong, but he's not even looking at the ball. He's just gone straight for the tackle, and you just can't do that.
Nicely taken by Ollie Chesham. Ben Earl finds Tom Curry, who clatters into a couple of Samoans, including Stephen Luatua. Danny Kerr is on now at scrum half, and he ships it to George Martin. Centre field, 22. Maro Itoje is the England forwards carry with a little bit of menace. Owen Farrell's behind the ruck. Now he comes quickly to the left. He's got Marcus Smith there. Here goes Marcus Smith. Almost got an offload away. Trying to go in between two Samoans. Kerr, bit slow the ball. Finds Sinclair. Now Marler. Therefore Kerr, who snipes, and he's almost through Danny Kerr, and he's just short of the line, and England can walk it into the left. They've got to use this. They go right instead though. Tom Curry, he's almost up to the line. Curry, an inch or two short. England have options to the right. They power on again through Martin. Another advantage. Have England got the coolness and the composure? A converted try takes them into the lead. Kerr digs. To the left is Farrell. Here is Owen Farrell. Farrell passes wild to May, who has to stoop and stop. And the sting at the attack. Back for the penalty though, as Smith comes dancing away with the ball. He's having a Samoan player on his case. It looked like Pierre Oa was giving him a few verbals on the floor. Penalty to England, but should have been way more.
Yeah, absolutely. They had numbers, you said it, like it's on to the left. It was also on to the right. Either way, they had an overlap, but somehow managed to ruin it. I think that Kerr had to snipe there. The ball was loose, and he had to, which is what he did. And then from that, though, it just looks like England don't know what they're doing. They don't they just either all need to go, right, okay, this is what we're doing, we're going to stick to that, this is our plan, but they don't look like they have a plan at all.
With all of those options left and right, why on earth is Marcus Smith not just at first receiver there to carve it up and create the magic? It's so frustrating, creating so many opportunities and build-ups, and yet England can't quite think their way through this game. I'm still convinced they're going to win, but they're just tripping over these little, it's like they're trying to sprint down the cobbled street and they keep twisting their ankle and can't quite get in full pace.
10 minutes left in Lille. England 11, Samoa 17. We're 10 minutes away from a seismic Rugby World Cup shock. It won't mean a huge amount in the context of the quarterfinals. England are already there, Samoa won't be. But what a moment this could be for Samoan rugby, and it could be another dark day for England after their first ever loss to Fiji in August. They've never lost to Samoa, but they have a magnificent attacking platform. 5 metres out, under the crossbar. And surely here, Matt Dawson, if you get a foundation.
I'm just fuming. Get the ball. It's like playing with Jason Robinson. Just give it to him. Give him the ball and let him cause havoc. Do the same with Marcus Smith. Give him the ball and make him bring the team in.
Kerr feeds, it's at Earl's feet. Earl's lost it on the floor, that's loose, and then Samoa loses, so England get another chance. But that's just an example. Were they trying to shove? Were they trying to use the backs? And then they did neither.
Yeah, they weren't sure what they were doing, and that's where they look a little bit lost, because you did have Marcus Smith lining up behind Farrell. They were obviously planning on doing something, whether it was an out the back, hopefully, to Marcus, as you were saying, Dawes. He wants the ball in his hand. He will quite often beat the first defender or go in between two, make it turn, and then get that pass away.
You're both travelling across the field, and that's why I played away. Balls come away instantaneously. I need you straight, okay?
Andrew Brace talking to the English front row, who felt they could have got a reward for just getting a shove on, but it was crabbing, and then Earl couldn't control it. Right, we're into the final 10. Remember, Samoa man down still. 5 minutes left on the yellow card for Manu, the outside centre. England, though, reprieve by Samoa losing it forward after England had coughed it up at the scrum. Got to get that clarity right here, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, thank goodness that England have another lifeline next week in the quarter-final. And I'm hoping that this abject performance for a vast majority of this game is going to be the lesson that they're going to learn for next week, because they are going to have to sharpen up proper quick.
A really valid point there, because if they come out on 140-0, maybe they don't look at themselves, whereas actually they have to look at themselves, and everybody's going to really expect them to change things, and they're going to have to in a short space of time.
Well, the plan was to build cohesion, but their starting midfield was changed after 55 minutes or so. England win the penalty at the scrum.
18 across and down.
And now England have a call to make. Do they keep scrumming, knowing that I wouldn't say a penalty try is necessarily on the cards quite yet, because England are a good 7 or 8 metres out from the line. They need to be a bit closer for a penalty try to come into play, but they can certainly ask questions of both the Samoan front row and the referee Andrew Brace if they keep winning penalties at the scrum.
Yeah, I mean, they're not actually sort of going forwards or backwards. There's a lot of wheeling going on at the scrum at the moment. I know this is not making for the most amazing of commentaries for the last 2 or 3 minutes, because it's all scrum time. Danny Kerr having a chat with Owen Farrell. It's pretty obvious, gents. Get the ball in, get it away, get it in play, take the risk out of it. What you don't want now is a dodgy scrum. Andrew Brace having enough, giving a penalty to Samoa because he's just fed up with things. Get the ball in and away.
Free kick to England as Samoa go early, and surely referee Brace is going to have a word with the Samoan front row. But the time is ticking, Kat, isn't it? We're now 72 minutes 20 on the clock. The scrum started around 70 minutes.
Yeah, and just listen, ref, here a sec.
Okay, yeah, please, let's fix it. You're early.
So just the warning for it, but you do kind of think, like, my instinct kind of 2 minutes ago was just take the 3, get out of here, reset it, because actually we haven't looked close to scoring, actually maybe close it down, but yeah, with only 7.5 minutes left, they really need to start upping it.
England will scrum again. Well, they had the free kick, so that was really the only call. Both the front rows engaged. 72 minutes gone in Lille, packed out ground. Loads of England fans in northern France. Cracking atmosphere around town, but the fans went from loving life at the start when Ollie Chesham galloped in early to thinking, are they going to witness a pretty famous Samoan victory and another defeat for England as Kerr snipes, and he's in, Danny Kerr. That's more like it from England and Kerr. A huge hole opened up, Kerr scores, and that will be the try that takes England into the lead.
Yeah, get the ball in, get it away, and challenge Samoa, who was struggling at the set piece. You could see they were locked in, making sure that they didn't give a penalty away at the scrum. And Danny Kerr does what Danny Kerr does best. Brilliant acceleration, scooping the ball from Ben Earl's feet. and the back row from Samoa were barely off the scrum when Danny Kerr dots it behind the left upright. Brilliant scrum half try.
And what I loved about that as well is that Marcus Smith did run round to the left. I think Samoa thought it was coming that way, stretched the defence, had really good running lines off Danny Kerr's shoulder as well, which is why Samoa started drifting off. So having options both sides made that gap for Danny Kerr to just glide through.
Owen Farrell belts England into the lead eventually, belatedly. England lead in Lille. England 18, Samoa 17. Matt Dawson.
Well, and Samoa are going to be back to 15 men pretty sharpish, if not already. Samoa have been doing, their forwards have been working hard in that set piece. It's going to take it out of them. But Samoa are still a threat. England need to get their possession and territory right. Oh, lovely break.
Ollie Lawrence dances out of a couple of Samoan tackles, but England will no doubt go to the boot. Kerr, whose try has potentially saved England's bacon, but he only hooks a kick to touch, which will give Samoa a nice attacking platform, 10-metre line inside England's half with the line out.
Yeah, not the cleanest of kicks there from Kerr. Would have wanted a little bit more distance onto that to get into the Samoan half.
Samoa, no huddles, please.
Well, Samoa are a penalty away from going back into the lead, a drop goal. They've got Lima Sopawanga, who was 16 times an All Black before switching his allegiance to Samoa this summer. And now Selala Lam throws in. It's loose line-out ball. It's a free kick as England close the gap. Right.
I said twice on the line, closing the gap.
And they close the gap, yeah, as the call from referee Andrew Bray. So free kick Samoa.
It's just got to get going. Samoa have had no possession in this second half. They're forgetting how dangerous they are against an England side that are going to be tired as well. Maybe not as tired, but they're going to be tired. Now it's this dangerous territory. You've called a scrum. The pressure has been all on Samoa so far. This has got to be so slick. Scrum half to hooker's foot, number 8 feet. Use that experience from Stephen Luatua. Get the ball up and away. Get the ball in play. From a Samoa perspective, from England's perspective, they've got to get hard and fast, concentrate on the scrum, put them under pressure.
76 minutes gone in Lille. England 18, Samoa 17. Samoa go for the scrum. They feed and they whiz it away through Matabao. Sopawanga's out the back, the fly half. He's crunched by Joe March, who's in the centre. Into play dummy half comes Pierre Ower, the dynamic fullback. Now they carry again through Brian Allen OUAC of Toulon. Might even try and set Sopawanga up for a drop goal here. 3.5 minutes left, and Sopawanga's going into the pocket, and he's going to try and kick Samoa back into the lead with the clock ticking down towards the 80. He is deep in the pocket. Matabal, the replacement line, has he seen his fly half? They've pick and gone around the corner through the forwards. This is getting a bit harder because it's now on the right-hand side of the pitch. It's going to be a tough drop for Sopawanga. I think he's going to go for it anyway, though. They need to work into centre field a bit more, don't they, Matt Dawson? You know all about these routines. 77 minutes gone. This could be historic for Samoa as they pick and drive once more. Luatua's in there. He's on the 10-metre line, Sopawanga. They pick and go once more around the corner. The forwards set it up, and Sopawanga is still in the pocket. He's still poised for a drop goal. He's still going to drop for victory, perhaps, for Samoa. They had their chance, but Samoa rocked on the gain line. England pour forward. Now they go back to Sopawanga, who can't drop for goal. Big tackle, George Martin upends him. It's been lost. England have it, and they definitely had numbers to the right, but they didn't want to play it. Perhaps didn't want to risk playing. And they had their chances there, Samoa, to send it back to Sopawanga, but they kept going for an extra bite, didn't they? And eventually he was in no position to go for the drop. Kick downfield, Samoa run it back through left winger Fonmai, over on the far side, inside Samoan territory, 2 minutes left. 18-17 to England, then it's lost, and Farrell eventually has it, but he wasn't looking, and then finds Johnny May. Johnny May's got a couple of Englishmen outside. Danny Kerr's there at the ruck. He's been caught up in it, in between the 22 and the 10 in Samoan territory. 1 point in it, under 2 minutes to go. Will England look to score to take it clear or just stick it up the jumper? Marchant, nice ball to Stewart. Stewart kicks for Smith, but it's been gathered up by Matavao. Matavao with a good handoff on Smith, and he's away, the replacement scrum half, and he gets a great ball inside. Magnificent rugby from Samoa and Failagi. Up to halfway goes Samoa. They could catch England flagging here. There are forwards out here. They've got numbers on the overlap, Samoa. Alan Oase over to the far side. Pia Oa with the hitch kick. He's gone round Earl. He's gone inside to Fomai. Fomai for the corner. Desperate tackle by Kerr. But it goes inside and Samoa lose it forward. Oh, what an opportunity for Samoa to score a famous try that would have won this game for sure. But England scramble, and England might just be getting out of jail in Lille. Under a minute to go. England 18, Samoa 17. But what rugby from Samoa, from their own 22. The replacement scrum half, Milani Matavao, ran it out, and Kerr kicks. Is that going to make touch? Stewart's going to get under it. He takes it well, Freddie Stewart. England are tired, Samoa are tired. No one can really get up in the defensive line. Look how narrow Samoa are. If England spin it wide, they will have a fantastic opportunity, but I think they just want to stick it up the jumper and try and wind down the clock with 20 seconds to go. England 18, Samoa 17. England need 2, maybe 3 more successful rucks, but they risk giving a penalty away. Referees are hot on teams killing the clock like this. 5 seconds left. England are just about going to do this, aren't they? 3, 2 and 1. Kerr is digging. He sends it back to Farrell, who kicks it out, and England beats Samoa just about.
What a tackle from Danny Kerr. We haven't given that enough praise by any stretch of the imagination. That was a game saver. Score the try, save the try. But I mean, look at the pitch. Scattered across this Lille pitch are Samoan players lying on the floor, hunching over their hands on their knees, hunching over because they have left it all on that pitch. Incredible effort. Just a magnificent effort from Samoa tonight. England breathed a sigh of relief that they didn't lose that game.
I think it's that, exactly. Who would have thought that we'd be saying England were lucky to win that? Because actually when Stewart kicked that ball away, England in their own, Samoa in their own 22, ran the length of the pitch. And if it wasn't for Danny's Kerr, amazing cover tackle, they were in and they win this game. But crazy performance from Samoa, absolutely outstanding. And England really have to look at their decision making, and there is some huge selection issues within that for the next game.
We will unpick all of that, Kat, as Salala Mapasua, the great former Samoa centre, once of London Irish, just looks crestfallen. The head coach of Samoa knew his team were inches, minutes, moments away from the greatest win in Samoan rugby history. It is not to be. England have won, but just about. Full-time in Lille, Sonia. England 18, Samoa 17.
Oh, and will Samoa get a better chance than that to get a famous first victory over England? You've got to wonder, haven't you? Danny Kerr very much to the rescue there with a try, that cover tackle. Matt Dawson, Kat has just said it right there. To me, is that more questions than answers now ahead of a World Cup quarter-final?
I think there are certainly going to be questions over maybe some of the individual performances, as we were thinking that really that side that started the game tonight was probably inked in for a quarter-final space. But unfortunately, with a performance like that, whether that's in systems or individually, I don't see that as an England side that's going to beat Fiji next week, because Fiji have got more to offer than Samoa. So I think there does need to be some changes for sure.
And it's the same conversation, Sonj, about the midfield. They went to Ford, Farrell and Manu Tuolangi with Marchant on the wing. Then after 50 minutes, Smith comes on, huge backline reshuffle. Ford comes off, Farrell to Ted, and suddenly you've got a midfield combination in Marchant and Lawrence at the end, who hasn't played much together. Stewart's on the wing with Smith at fullback. It's all kind of pieced together, and I'm sure there's method to it, but there is no cohesion, and this has been the issue with England all throughout the last year, and especially the warm-ups into this World Cup. Could they get any clarity of combination that you see with all the top teams? They had a little bit of it in Japan and Argentina game,
I think it seems
to have gone now.
That was definitely one of our strengths in the early part of this tournament. Those first two games, there was cohesion.
That's because Ford was playing.